Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is lesson 9 of our C# from beginner to expert series. Lesson 8, we created our first console application that help us to retrieve a country information. So if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel for us, and then don't forget to hit the notification button so that anytime we drop a new video, you may receive a notification, and then share this content with others so that they can also benefit from this. So in today's video, we are going to talk about object-oriented programming paradigm. So basically we are going to talk about the basic concept. I'm going to introduce you to the 4 pillars and then in the upcoming videos we are going to dive in deep in this concept to play around with it, and then we are going to do more examples with this OPP thing. You cannot do C# without talking about object-oriented programming paradigm. The object-oriented programming paradigm is the core concept of most of the programming language like C#, Java, and the rest. So if you want to become an expert in C#, then the one concept that you need to master, or one skills that you need to have, is object-oriented programming. So let's talk about what object-oriented programming is all about. Object-oriented programming paradigm is all about creating objects that represent real world things, but it is not about representing things as an object. It is about using this object to make code more efficient, easy to manage, and a lot of more reusable. So when you are working on an application, you may have a functionality that you like to use it in another section. With object-oriented programming, you may have the ability to use this functionality. So reusable functionality is allowed. So we do have 4 pillars of object-oriented programming. So you maybe when you go somewhere and then someone is saying that 4 pillars of object-oriented programming. So let's see that we have, let's try to close this down and then see that 4 pillars, right? So 4 pillars of object-oriented programming, right? So object-oriented programming, we have 4 pillars. So the first one that we are going to talk about is that we have inheritance, and then the second one that we have polymorphism, so and then the third one that we have here is abstraction, and then the fourth one that we have is encapsulation. So these are the 4 pillars of object-oriented programming. So when we combine this, and then that is where we see that we are practicing object-oriented programming. And then C# is an object-oriented programming language. So if we want to be more fluent, or we want to be efficient in the C# environment, then we need to have this concept in mind. So let's get started. When we talk of, we can go ahead and say that inheritance, right? So when we talk of inheritance, what do we mean by inheritance? And this video focus on just introduction. I'm just trying to introduce you to this concept, and then in the upcoming videos we are going to dive in deep with all the 4 pillars so that you get the real fancy of how this thing work. Then we are going to practice this thing with more examples and all that. So stay with me. With this video we are just introducing you. We are trying to understand the concept. So we can say that inheritance is basically we trying to have a relationship, right? So it's kind of having a relationship, or so we can say that, think of inheritance as a family tree. So you might inherit an eye color from your parents, similar in OPP. So you see, you have a relationship with your father, so you may get something from your father, and then maybe when you give birth to your son or your daughter, can also get something. I mean, your eye, or it depends. So it's a tree, and then this one is getting something from here. So you are getting it from your father, you are giving it to your child is also giving it to his, all these things, right? So let's see how it works. And this one, let's go ahead and try to see that when we have something like this, we can have something like this. We can have something like this. So this is a perfect example of how OPP works, you know. So this is how the OPP works. So let's try to explain this code. We have learned about properties already, and then we know that these are properties. So in here, let's go ahead and see that this is properties, right? So properties, we have these properties here, and then in the properties we have name, colors, age, and then let's go down here, and then we are going to see that these are method, right? This is method. We already know that method perform a certain actions. So if we want a certain actions in our code, we can create a method to represent that. We want the method to perform that action for us. So that is the functionality of a method. On even on we can say classes. So we can create a class to perform something, but in class we may have method. So the method perform a specific action. So in here we see that when we call this, we are saying that eating, right? And then when we call sleep, we are saying sleeping. So at the end of the day, we can put this to a class, but in the class we have this, you know. Yeah, so we can say that in animal class, so all these things are in animal class. So we have a class called animal, but in animal we do have method that is performing a certain actions. So now we have animal as a class, and then as you said, inheritance is just a relationship, or we can think of inheritance as a tree, which means that it's kind of each class has something with another class. So we have animal class here, and then we are saying that okay, we are going to have another class called dog, but the dog is now trying to inherit something from animal class. So this is a dog class, so we can say that this is a dog class. So this is a dog class which inherits from the animal class. So don't worry if you are not getting it, but this is just overview of how inheritance work. We are going to dive in deep in upcoming videos, so don't worry about that. So we have animal here, and then the animal with the dog class is trying to inherit animal. So what it means is that all the functionality, this method can be accessible to this dog class, because this dog class is trying to inherit this. So it means that whatever we have in animal class, we can also perform that action in the dog class, because the dog class is trying to inherit this class. You see how the thing is? Yeah. So basically, let me make this code more readable here. Let's put it into the main class like this, so we can see that public class here, or public static class, or something like that. I think we can see that. Yeah, so let's put this one here, and what we are doing is that we also have, this is a cat class. You see how the thing is? So we have eat, sleep, and then we have a dog normally big, right? So dog big, and then for cats we are saying meow. So let's see what we do here. We are calling the dog class here, but now you see we have access to all these properties. So it means that whatever we have here can now be available to the animal class and then also the cat class. because there is inheritance between them. You see how the thing is? So there is inheritance between them. So when we are creating an instance for that class, we can see the new dog. So now we are using this. So dog name, color, and then age. And then we can call dog eat, sleep, big. And what we are doing is that we are calling this method, right? Big. So now we have 3 methods. Here is 2. And then we added this one that we have here to this 3. So here in the dog section, we are saying that dog can now eat, sleep, big. And then we can also call class. You see how the thing is. So let's see, if we run .NET run, we are going to get an error. This code is not properly structured. So I just want to use it for examples and all that. My terminal is taking 4 years to load. Don't worry about that. So let's see that when we hit .NET run here, we should get error. Let's see if it works or we get an error, because we should get an error. Okay, we are not getting an error, right? Yes, we are getting warnings, not errors. Yes, but the point is that this is trying to do something for us. This is inheritance, and we are saying that we have this eat is coming from the animal class, sleep is coming from the animal class. The only class that we created in the dog class was dog trying to bake, right? Yes. So inheritance, you can create a class and then you create another one, and this is how you do the inheritance in C#. You just trying to, so you just have your dog here and an animal. I can create another class here called, maybe I like which animal. So let's say I like another animal. I don't know another animal. Which animal do you think we should bring here? Okay, another animal. All right, another animal. All right, another animal. You know, lion. Okay. The co-pilot is saying lion is good. So we might have lion. What does lion do? They're trying to right, but this is good. So when we come here, we can then go ahead and see that we want to create a new lion, right? So new lion, and lion name, lion color, and then the age. So now we can use the lion. We call this method, we call this, and we call this. So this is basically inheritance. That is how it works, and this is a kind of just trying to explain how we are going to work with a real world example. So this is how inheritance work, in the real world. So now let's go ahead and talk about let's talk about another concept here, which we call polymorphism, right? So we're trying when you see something is polymorphism, what do we mean by this? So let's get this right here. When we talk of polymorphism, right, the polymorphism is a fancy term for saying one name, many forms. It is like having a universal remote that can control multiple devices. You get it? So if we are doing database, we see that one too many or something like that, right? So this is polymorphism. So let's create a class too, another class here. I think we can create this another C# class to represent this in a better way, right? So let me try to close all this thing, and then you see this is how polymorphism work. So what do you think we should do right now? We are saying that polymorphism is a fancy term for saying one name, many forms. So we have one name, but we can say it many forms. It means that we can have a functionality here, but we can use it. We can have a method, but we can use it to perform a different kind of actions. So let's see that we do have this. Let me create something. Let's play with this class. Let's see public virtual here. We are going to talk about access modifiers, but don't worry for now. We have, let's see what the co-pilot is giving us is cool. So now what we have here is that we have two methods. no, we are not shape. I'm not comfortable with what is thing. So let's see, draw, right? Let's come up with something rare. See draw here, and then we see drawing. So this is a method. So this is a method, right? This is a method. So this is a method. Okay, method. Trying to, right? Let's write comments more. Okay, trying to print out drawing, something like that, right? To make it nice. So we have this. Then this is a class. We have one class here. So what do you think we can do? We have this trying to see that it's going to draw something for us. Okay. So now let's go ahead and create another class. You know, we can go ahead and see that public class here, circle, right? And then we bring the polymorphism class here, and then when we get circle, what do? We are saying that draw circle. So we have this circle, we have this drawing, but we are trying to inherit it here. And this time around, we are saying we are drawing circle, but this is drawing. So the same drawing, but we are using it, and then we are using something called override. Right, don't worry about the access modifier. We are going to talk about these things in more details here in this this series. So we are trying to use the override. You can read about it, where we have a class we are trying to override. So we can use this drawing method to do multiple things. Right, to do multiple things, we can go ahead and then have another class, like, you know, maybe I don't know the class we have rectangle, and then this time around we are drawing rectangle. So we do have one what we call drawing here, but we can use it to do multiple things. What we need to do is that we're trying to inherit this class, and then we keep on creating something. So if you have, when we are working on application, you have a session where it print the username when they logged in or something, right? And then what you can use the same method to also print the name when they log out. It's not logical programming, but I'm just saying, you know, so you can also use that one to do that. So that is how polymorphism work. Have one name, but use it in many forms. You know, that is how it works. So we can go ahead and then see that we using the polymorphism here. This is our main class, right? Okay, so this is using the polymorphism here. Let's go ahead here. So you see the console right line. I just want to write something and say polymorphism, and under that, this is what we do, right? We are not bringing new anymore. We are just bringing the polymorphism here. How did I create it? I created polymorphism. Right. What is this class? This class is polymorphism, right? So we're basically going to bring this. You see that polymorphism, new polymorphism. What do? We use this, right? And then it solve that. So in C#, what we do is that we say using. I mean, I think you on JavaScript and all that, you say import, but here we say using, right? So it means that we are using our polymorphism. So now we have this, and then what are we going to do next? What we are going to do next is that we have access to the draw, right? So now when we have the draw, but it's doing a lot of things. This draw is doing a lot of things here, right? This draw is doing it. So let's go ahead and console this and check what is gonna happen. Let's go to our terminal here, and let me try to do this and hit.net run. Are we gonna get an error? So we are getting drawing, right? We are getting drawing. So polymorphism drawing. So it means that now we are calling this, which is in drawing. But what if we want this circle one what do we do? So let's go ahead and see that polymorphism here. What do we do? New circle, right? We want to call the circle. So we also create an instance for that, and then we call the drawing inside. So now polymorphism, we have it here, but we are calling polymorphism dot circle because that is what we have here. So it's inside this class. So that's how it works. So now let's go to our console here, and then let's hit .NET run again. And what is happening? We see that we are drawing circle. We are drawing circle is working. So polymorphism is basically, we are saying that something with one name but can perform many forms. So that is how polymorphism. And don't worry, this is just an overview on the 4 pillars. We are going to dive in deep, and we are going to create more examples with this. So then now let's talk about encapsulations. What is encapsulation and how does it work? So let's create another class and let's call it encapsulation here. So encapsulation is something that you cannot go away with that. So we can think of encapsulation as when you have a capsules. When you go to your drugstore and then you buy a capsules, you see the capsules, they have put it into something, and then in there, that is where the capsules. So when you buy the capsules, they will give you something, but that is not the actual capsules. In there is where we have the capsules. So when you are working on your method or something, you may have properties. So let's play with this. Let's see that in here. In this class, we may have private. So the access modifier, what we use here is that we use, let's say, double. And I'm going to say double balance. I like money, so you also like money. So let's talk about my balance, right? So we see balance. Okay, good. We have this, and this is being encapsulated, right? So this is encapsulated field. We are using it's available to this class only. So let's go and create another stuff. See private, what do we see there? Void. This is not returning anything, right? And then we are going to see deposit, and then we are trying to deposit this. We are trying to deposit this. So deposit, and so we see that private number encapsulation deposit is unused. So encapsulated, right? The deposit. So what do you think we are going to do here? So when we get this, we then see that console. Let's write something now. We do. Okay, console right line amount deposit. So what we are doing is that we probably want to go ahead, and then in here let's make it balance. So console right, you deposit, and then your balance is this, right? Okay, good. So what are we doing here? We have this, our balance is being encapsulated, and then when we encapsulate something, it's like keeping your secret safe and only letting them out through secure doors. So we have this balance property here, and it's encapsulated, and then if we want to use it, we use it only here. So if I create another class right here and see that maybe okay, sorry, see public another class, withdraw, but still we are in the same scope. It's going to work like that. But let me go ahead and cut this off and see what is happening. Oh, I'm messing up the code. Okay, so here let's go back like this. It's taking our time up. So let's see that public class Okay, this one is supposed to, oh, okay, it's supposed to be in this, we have, this is the main class, so we have another one we draw, and we can keep on playing around. But the point is that this thing we have here is only available in this class. So when you encapsulate something in the C#, it means that you have a class or method that you have a certain property which is available in that section only. You cannot access it outside. So you are trying to encapsulate something, and then as I said, you only access it through secure door. So you know that this method is supposed to access it and all that. Yeah, so when we go ahead, we can go ahead and then call the encapsulation. So here we are going to call our encapsulation. Let's see, what do you see? Encapsulation, right? We are going to call our encapsulation, and then you see that encapsulation, and you see new encapsulation, deposit, and withdraw. And what are we seeing? That it's not accessible, right? So this one, don't we have this class in here? So why are we getting an error? Let's check that encapsulation, right? Polymorphism, this is encapsulation. Okay, so you see, I'm making this one private. I'm trying to also encapsulate the method, so this is supposed to be public. It means that we want to send this out, right? So let's make it, this one's public. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and hit but before then, let's try to console this and make sure we are working on encapsulation. Okay, good. And let's go back and run our C#.NET run. Oh, this is not good for me. Okay, let's hit our .NET run here. So this is what we have. We deposit 100 cedis, we withdraw 50, right? So that's what we did here. We see that this is a balance, right? So when we do, we normally see the add, then we get our balance, and then when we withdraw, we divide that one. I mean, we just subtract that one. So we deposit and then we do this. So that's how encapsulation works here on C#. We are going to dive in deep, so don't worry about that. So let's try to talk about the last pillar, which is abstraction. So let's create another class quickly and see that what do we mean by abstraction in C#. So when we talk of abstraction, it's about hiding a complex reality whilst trying to expose only the necessary method or the necessary thing that people are supposed to. So it's like driving a car. You don't need to know the engine work and drive. So you don't need to know the engine. The engine is what is trying to control everything, but you don't need to know about that. You just keep on driving. You have to know how to drive. So probably how we define abstract class here in C#, we have to bring the abstract here, right? So we have the abstract, and let's go ahead and see that we have the abstract. Let's say turn on. Let's use the engine as example. So let's say turn on. I'm going to create something like turn on like this. So this is what we do have, this abstract class, and then we are saying that this is trying to turn us on. So on a smart device, we call it turn on. So let's see. I'm going to give you guys more example here, but let me try to bring this example here for us to discuss. I have this example where I want people to understand this. So what we are doing is that we have device, right? And then we have a device abstract class called device, which is turn on something. So in the this class, we have a method that turns something on. So smartphone, and then we trying to inherit this, and then we see that override like what we're doing in polymorphism. But then we turn on. So we can also go ahead and then see that we still want to do call no. And then we have another method that see that, oh no, this is not what we want. The co-parallels is giving us. So let's see, we have another class called override, and then you see turn off. And then we can come here and have another method that turns something on off. So we do something like this. So you see that we have the abstract class, but this time around we are trying to define the method, how things supposed to work here in the abstract class. And then we have another class, and this class trying to inherit what we have in here. That is how the abstraction work. So these are the fourth pillar, right? So I'm going to do more so let's go and call our abstraction here. So we see our abstraction, and then we have console write abstraction, and then we have device, and then device call this one, and so still now we call device turn off. And what we do is that instead of us to call this ones, we are then call it here, right? We call this one, but this is going to work. So we have defined our method here. Is by in there is trying to perform something here. Let's try to see if this is gonna work, right? So let's have our .NET run and see if you are getting an error. So this is the smartphone is turning on, smartphone is turning off. But you see that we just call this device, then turn on device, then turn off here. Here with the class even was smartphone, but we created a device here. So with this class here have everything and trying to do this. So we only talk to this class with this. So we can, when we call this, it means that we are talking about this one. So don't worry, I'm going to do a lot of we are going to dive in deep into this OPP. So thank you for watching Cliff Tech. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for us. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.